There is a resource more valuable than money, scarcer than talent, and more determinative of outcomes than almost any other force in human life. It is not intelligence. The world is full of intelligent men whom nobody listens to. It is not beauty. The world is full of beautiful people who are forgotten the moment they leave the room. It is not even power in the conventional sense. I have watched powerful men speak into rooms that were physically present and mentally elsewhere, their words landing on surfaces that did not receive them, their authority acknowledged and their presence ignored. The resource I am describing is attention. Human attention. The full, directed, genuine focus of another person's mind on you, on what you are saying, on what you represent, on what you might do next. Everything else in the domain of human influence is downstream of this. You cannot persuade a person who is not attending to you. You cannot move a person who is not present with you. You cannot build the kind of reputation, the kind of loyalty, the kind of genuine connection that I have written about across this channel, without first securing the one thing that makes all of it possible: their attention. My name is Niccolò Machiavelli. I spent 14 years in the service of the Florentine Republic conducting negotiations, writing dispatches, managing relationships, and attempting to influence the behavior of men who were being pulled in 100 directions simultaneously by 100 competing demands on exactly this resource. What I learned across those years about the capture and the holding of human attention is what I want to share with you today. Not as a set of tricks for making yourself interesting. As a philosophy of presence and depth, and the specific qualities that cause human attention to move toward one thing and away from another. Because the man who understands attention understands the foundation of everything else. I want to begin with an observation that I found consistently true across every environment I operated in, and that I believe is as true today as it was in Florence 500 years ago. Human attention follows novelty and significance. These are not the same thing, and the distinction between them is one of the most important things I can tell you about how attention actually operates. Novelty is what the attention moves toward first. The new thing. The unexpected thing. The thing that does not fit the pattern the mind was running. The brain is a pattern recognition machine, and it allocates attention automatically to whatever disrupts its current pattern, because disruptions to established patterns carry information that the patterns themselves do not. This is why the unusual entrance captures the room. Why the unexpected question stops the conversation. Why the man who says something genuinely surprising commands the attention that the man who says predictable things never receives, regardless of how eloquently he says them. Novelty captures attention, but it does not hold it. The thing that holds attention is significance. The sense that what is happening here matters. That something real is at stake. That the person or the idea or the situation commands continued attention not because it is new but because it is genuinely important to attend to. Significance is harder to produce than novelty because it cannot be manufactured through surface disruption alone. It requires actual substance. The man who captures attention through novelty and then reveals, in the holding, that there is nothing of significance beneath the disruption, loses that attention faster than he gained it. And he loses something else with it. The credibility that would have allowed him to capture attention again. The man who captures attention through novelty and then holds it through genuine significance has built something entirely different. He has built a reputation for being worth attending to. And a reputation for being worth attending to is one of the most valuable assets available to any person operating in any environment where human judgment determines outcomes. Build the substance first. Then allow the novelty to disrupt the room and direct attention toward it. What the attention finds when it arrives will determine whether it stays. The second observation concerns what I would call the architecture of interest. Why does one person find another genuinely interesting? Not superficially interesting. Not interesting in the way that novelty produces interest, which fades when the novelty is exhausted. Genuinely, sustainably, deeply interesting in a way that produces repeated attention across time. I observed this question across my career not as an abstract philosophical matter but as a practical one. My ability to influence the people I dealt with depended on my ability to remain interesting to them. A diplomat who becomes predictable becomes peripheral. A counselor whose thinking can be anticipated is not a counselor worth consulting. An advisor who has nothing new to offer is not an advisor whose presence is sought. I needed to remain genuinely interesting to remain genuinely useful. And the observation I made about what produced that genuine interest was this. The most interesting people I encountered were the ones whose thinking I could not fully anticipate. Not because they were deliberately obscure or contrarian, because the quality of their engagement with ideas, with situations, with the specific texture of the moment they were in, produced responses that I could not have generated from my own model of the situation. They saw things I had not seen. They made connections I had not made. They arrived at conclusions through a process that was clearly their own, not borrowed from the consensus or the conventional wisdom or the established thinking of the people around them. This quality of genuine intellectual independence, of a mind that has actually done its own work rather than assembled the positions of others and presented them as thought, is what produces the kind of interest that holds attention across time. It cannot be performed. It can only be developed. Through the years of reading and thinking and honest engagement with difficult questions that produce a mind that genuinely sees differently rather than merely presenting itself as doing so. This is why I return in every conversation on this channel to the same foundation. The development of the real thing. The patient, unglamorous work of building genuine depth of understanding, genuine independence of thought, genuine substance of character. Because all of it, the attention, the influence, the genuine connection that I have described across every script in this library, is downstream of this one thing. Becoming genuinely worth attending to. The third observation concerns what destroys attention, and it is the one most directly applicable to the daily experience of any man trying to maintain the interest and regard of the people around him. Attention is destroyed by predictability. The moment a person believes they know what you will do, what you will say, how you will respond to any given situation, their attention to you drops to the minimum required by the relationship. They have built a model of you that is sufficient for navigation. And having built it, they no longer need to attend closely to update it. You have become, in the architecture of their attention, background. I observed this in the courts and councils of Florence with a regularity that was sometimes painful to watch. Men of genuine capability who had made themselves entirely predictable, who occupied the same position in every conversation, who offered the same quality of counsel in every situation, who responded to every development with responses that their colleagues could have written for them before the meeting began, slowly became invisible. Not unrespected, not unloved. Invisible in the specific sense that their presence added almost nothing to the attention of the people around them that their absence would not have preserved through the model that had already been built. The invisible man is not dangerous. He is not influential. He is furniture. The man who maintains genuine attention is the man who cannot be fully modeled, who responds to situations with a quality of engagement that produces something the observer had not anticipated, who occupies no fixed position in any conversation but the position that his genuine assessment of the specific moment produces. This does not mean being inconsistent for its own sake. The man who is inconsistent without substance is merely unreliable. What I am describing is something different. It is the consistency of genuine character, of deep values and clear direction, combined with the unpredictability of genuine thinking. The same man with the same fundamental nature, producing responses that cannot be anticipated because they emerge from genuine engagement with the specific situation rather than from the application of a predetermined position. That combination of consistent character and unpredictable thought is what maintains attention indefinitely. Because the character provides enough consistency to be trusted and the thought provides enough unpredictability to remain interesting. Build that combination. Not as a strategy. As the natural expression of a man who has done the genuine work of developing his thinking while remaining clear about his fundamental direction. The fourth observation concerns what I will call the power of withheld attention. There is a specific and powerful dynamic that operates in human interaction that most men never fully understand, and it is responsible for some of the most dramatic shifts in the quality of attention that I observed across my career. The attention of a man who attends to everything equally is worth nothing. Not because he is not attending, but because his attention carries no signal of value. If he looks at everything with the same quality of interest, then his looking at you tells you nothing about you. It tells you only that you are in his field of vision, which is a condition you share with everything else. But the attention of a man who attends selectively, whose focus is known to be difficult to earn and easy to lose, whose genuine interest in something is a signal that the something has met a standard not everything meets, carries an entirely different weight. When that man attends to you, you feel it as something earned rather than something given automatically. You understand, because you have seen him not attend to others, that his attention is a judgment as well as a direction of focus. And that judgment, positive as it is in the moment of its expression, carries a value that the automatic attention of the man who attends to everything never could. I cultivated this quality deliberately across my career, not by being cold or withholding as a performance, by genuinely attending only to what was genuinely worth attending to, and allowing the quality of my attention to reflect the quality of what it was directed toward. This meant that when I was genuinely interested, that interest was legible as something real, because the people I was interested in had seen me not be interested, had seen me attend to some things and not others, had understood through observation that my interest was not automatically extended to everything in my vicinity. And the man whose genuine interest is known to be selective is the man whose genuine interest, when extended, is genuinely valued. This is one of the deepest mechanisms through which attention operates in the domain of human influence. The man who gives his attention freely and automatically has made it worthless. The man who gives it selectively has made it a form of genuine recognition, a signal that the person receiving it has earned something that not everyone earns. That recognition, genuinely given by a man whose standards are known, is one of the most powerful gifts available in human interaction. Attend selectively, not to manipulate, because genuine attention is a finite resource and its selective direction is the honest expression of a man who takes seriously what he chooses to give it to. The fifth observation concerns the relationship between attention and mystery, and it connects directly to everything I have described in earlier conversations about presence and depth and the qualities that make a man impossible to stop thinking about. Attention is held by the unresolved. I wrote in another context about the Zeigarnik effect, the psychological finding that incomplete loops occupy the mind in a way that completed ones do not. The same principle operates in the domain of attention at a broader level. The person who is fully known, fully understood, fully resolved in the mind of the observer, no longer commands active attention. They have been processed and filed. The model is complete. The attention moves elsewhere. The person who remains partially unresolved, who has been genuinely encountered but not fully understood, who raises questions that continued observation has not yet answered, continues to command the attention that resolution would end. This is not about being deliberately mysterious. The performance of mystery without the substance of depth is immediately detectable and produces not fascination but suspicion. It is about being genuinely more than you have shown. About having layers of understanding and experience and perspective that no single encounter can exhaust. About being, in the deepest sense, a person whose full nature is not accessible from any single angle of observation. A man like that does not need to manufacture mystery. He simply is more than can be seen at once. And the people who encounter him continue attending because the attending continues to produce something new, something that the previous attending had not already produced. This is the deepest argument for the development of genuine depth that I know how to make. Not for the strategic value it produces in the domain of attention, though that value is real and significant, but because the alternative, the life lived on the surface, processed without depth, moving through experience without being changed by it, is the life of a man who has nothing to reveal because there is nothing beneath the surface to reveal. And a man like that is not mysterious. He is simply empty. Build something real inside yourself. Something that takes years to develop and cannot be fully seen from any single encounter. Build it not for the attention it will earn you but because the building is what makes a life worth living. And then trust that the depth, once built, will produce its own gravity, its own pull, its own claim on the attention of the people who encounter you. Not because you are trying to hold their attention, because you are genuinely worth attending to. The sixth observation is the most practical and the most immediately applicable of everything I will discuss today. The fastest way to hold someone's attention is to give them yours. Genuine attention given to another person is one of the rarest experiences available in human interaction. Most people are partially present in most conversations. Their attention is divided between what is being said and what they are preparing to say, between the person in front of them and the other concerns pulling at the edges of their focus. The person who gives genuine, undivided, fully present attention to another human being gives them something they almost never receive. And the experience of receiving it is so unusual, so different in quality from the partial attention that most interactions provide, that it produces an immediate and powerful response. The person attended to becomes more interesting to themselves. Their thinking becomes clearer. Their expression becomes more precise. They say things they had not known they were going to say because the quality of the attention they are receiving creates the conditions in which genuine thought becomes possible. And they want to return to the presence that produced that experience. They want to be in that quality of attention again. They want to find the person who gave it to them and give something back. That something back is their attention, directed toward you with a quality and completeness that ordinary social interaction almost never produces. This is the deepest mechanism I know for building the kind of mutual attention that is the foundation of genuine connection, genuine influence, and genuine relationship. Not the performance of interest. The genuine giving of attention, fully and without reservation, to the person in front of you. It requires the same discipline as everything else I have described across this channel. The discipline of presence, of silencing the internal noise long enough to genuinely receive what another person is offering, of setting aside the preparation of your response long enough to actually hear what you are responding to. This discipline is rare, and its rarity makes it powerful. The man who has genuinely developed it is the man who others find themselves most wanting to be around, most wanting to return to, most unable to stop thinking about after the encounter has ended. Not because of what he said, because of what he gave. His full attention, genuinely, without reservation. In a world where that is the rarest thing on offer, it is also the most powerful. I want to close with something that I have been building toward across this entire conversation and that I believe is the most important thing I can say about the psychology of attention. The man who is most successful at capturing and holding the attention of others is almost never the man who is trying to capture and hold it. He is the man who is so completely absorbed in something genuinely worth being absorbed in that his absorption becomes compelling in itself. I observed this across my entire career. The men who commanded the most genuine attention in any room were not the ones who had studied how to be interesting. They were the ones who were genuinely interested in the problem at hand, in the question being discussed, in the specific texture of the moment they were in and what it revealed and what it required. Their attention was pointed outward at something real, not inward at the question of how they were being perceived. And that outward pointing, that genuine absorption in something beyond themselves, produced a quality of presence that drew the attention of everyone around them almost involuntarily. Because genuine absorption is one of the rarest and most compelling things a human being can project. In a room full of people performing engagement, the man who is genuinely engaged stands out with a clarity that requires no effort on his part. He is simply there, fully, in a way that the performers around him are not. And the people in the room feel the difference even when they cannot name it. This is the final and deepest argument for everything I have written about across this channel. Not the development of strategies for capturing attention. The development of genuine substance worth attending to, genuine direction worth following, genuine depth worth exploring. Become genuinely interesting by becoming genuinely interested. In the world, in ideas, in the people around you, in the craft of whatever you have chosen to build. And then trust that attention, the genuine attention of people who matter, will follow. Not because you pursued it, because you became worth it. I spent my years in exile at San Andrea and Percasina writing for an audience I could not see, about ideas I could not be certain would ever be read, with a quality of absorption in the work that left no room for the question of whether the work was being noticed. The work was noticed. 500 years later, we are still in that room. Not because I tried to hold your attention. Because I gave everything I had to the thing I was attending to. And what is attended to with everything endures.